Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we have another video. And this game is from round 4 of the Super Bit chess class. It is MVL versus Fabiano Caruana. And MVL with the white pieces opens with E4, which is the king's pawn opening. We have E5, knight to F3, the king's knight variation, knight to C6, bishop to B5, the Roy Lopez, and A6, which is Morphy's defense. We have bishop to A4, the Columbus variation, and we have knight to F6. Castles, and knight captures on E4, the open variation. D4, so attacking this pawn on E5, and we have B5, which attacks the bishop on A4, forcing it to retreat to a square such as B3. So we have bishop to B3 and D5. So now when black develops this pawn, black is protecting this knight and attacks this piece on D4. D captures on E5, bishop to E6 and C3. Bishop to C5, attacking the F2 square, adding pressure to the king. And we have knight B to D2. So for maybe asking for a trade, and we have castles from black and bishop to B2, adding pressure to the E4 knight. We have knight captures on F2, rook captures on F2, bishop captures on F2, and king captures on F2. So two pieces for a rook. F6 challenging the E5 pawn, and we have knight to F1. F captures on E5, king to G1, getting the king to a safer position, and we have queen to D7. Bishop to G5, developing the bishop, and rook A to E8. So now the rooks are both connected, and they look quite strong along this E file and F file. We have queen to D2, D4, and we have knight to G3. H6, making the bishop retreat or move back along this diagonal. Bishop to H4, D captures on C3, so we have queen captures on C3, rook captures on F3, and G captures on F3. Knight to D4, adding pressure to this bishop on this C2 square. Now from here we have bishop to B1, D1, rook to F8, knight to E4, and bishop to C4. We have king to G2, and we have rook to F4, adding pressure to the bishop on the H4 square. We have bishop to E1, so connected with the queen now. And we have queen to F5, adding pressure to the knight. We have knight to D2, protecting the pawn on this square. We have E4, asking for trade, and we have bishop to G3. Pawn captures on F3 with check, and we have king to F2. We have rook to G4. We have knight to C4, so knight captures on C4. B captures, the B pawn captures on C4. B captures on F3, knight captures on F3, and queen captures on F3. Queen to C2 with a check, maybe going to pick up some pawns. And we have queen to E2, so protecting this check. Queen to F5 with check, king to G1, H5, pushing this pawn forwards. And from here, we have rook to F1, adding pressure to the queen, and queen to G6. So now both of them add lots of pressure towards this bishop. Now from here we have king to H1, H4 adding pressure to the bishop, bishop captures on C7. So now white is gaining more material. Now we have H3, queen to F3, queen to D3 asking for a trade, and we have bishop to E5 declining the trade. We have rook to G2, bishop to C3, and it was in this position on move 39, that Caruana resigned the game as there is nothing more to be done. In this position, white has the better position, so a move such as rook to g5 could be played from black here, and then or rook to g6 or rook to g4. So any move along this file, so g4, g5 or g6, and then from here, if we went with rook to g5, then what would happen from here is you'd play a move such as queen to f7 with check, and then the king would be forced to move to one of these squares, and then white would simply win the game from here. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video from round 4 of the Superbit chess class between MVL and Fabiano Caruana. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.